It is Wednesday, July 10, about 8:15 a.m. Eastern, and here are the levels that I've identified. I'm not really liking what the market's doing. I mean, I can't. It's going to do what it's going to do, of course, but they've been climbing in the pre-market, and they're already at 557.34. They're basically above in the pre-market where the highest that they got yesterday, which is all-time high, of course. There's a zone up here, and I'm just going to leave these levels on the board, see what happens. Just I think it's pretty important to see what's going on in my other charts, other time frames, other indicators before making any decisions. There's also another 10 o'clock testimony. The Fed Chair Jerome Powell is speaking to the House. Yesterday it was the Senate. So nothing really happened yesterday. Let's see what happens today, if that means anything. And of course, we have some other data releases later in the week. But we'll come back to this chart after the market closes, analyze the aftermath, and if any trades were taken, we'll talk about them then. Thanks, and see you then. It is now almost 12 hours later, and interesting day. The S&P 500 finally busted through 5,600 off the screen. So let's just pull this down to show you what this looks like. Keep in mind, the top levels we had today were right here, and they were hit. Some trades. Let's talk about that. I will make sure I have enough room to show you how the trades panned out. So let's just look at these first. So after 9:45, they were right here. So I'm hovering over the 9:45 candle, closed right there. So I had a resting order to go long if they came back down into this level, and they didn't, at least not then. They went up into this zone. I sold at both levels, kind of in the middle, but I had 4 contracts and pulled that down for a base hit pretty quickly. And then I did not buy again down here, perfectly viable. This level was perfectly okay for a long trade because it didn't hit here. It wasn't like it was a near miss. They were just, I don't do anything before 9:45. So if you're just going to stick by the rules, this was a place to buy. I just didn't. Honestly, I thought they were going to come down, maybe fill the gap or something. But that was a miss because they went from here up for the rest of the day. Pretty obvious now. And so 3 base hits. I got 2. And where are they going? I mean, if the destination is 5,600 in the S&P, well, they hit that. And something very interesting, I'm not going to show it to you. I'll just tell you it's a different chart. I don't want to have to explain it, but it helps me understand how many. This is just for the E-mini chart. It's not an SPY chart. It helps me understand how many contracts are traded. And there was a big spike. Actually, let me look at this on the other screen here. There was a pretty big spike in the after hours, right after the market closed. It was around 16:59, so almost 5 o'clock or so. Pretty big spike, like, maybe 8 or more contracts traded on average. That's a lot. And most of them were being sold. So don't know if that means they're going to be pushing this down tomorrow, but either way, we'll have levels in the SPY in the morning to trade against in the E-minis. But for right now, let's just go ahead and jump to the tracking log and show you how these trades translated into profits. Playing by the rules, you would have averaged in at that zone, just traded each level independently. That would have given you 2 entry points and a base hit on the combined position, and then a base hit on the other level down at 556.87. I did not take that, so I got the 2 base hits, so I got 8 points instead of 12. Here are your numbers. So interesting times we're in, and we will come back tomorrow and do this again. There are still some data releases, CPI, PPI, whatever it is, this week, and just waiting for volatility. Maybe this is a little taste of volatility that we're going to get. The overall volume is still low, but we had that kind of unusual spike in the aftermarket in the E-minis, just the futures, a big spike in what could be professional activity, and that could be telling us something, and we'll find out probably before the market opens in the morning. I'll keep an eye on the pre-market. Anyway, back at it tomorrow morning. I'll have levels. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing. Hope you found this useful, and if you had the levels from the morning, if you traded them, there's no reason you couldn't have made money today. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow.